Welcome to Cindy's Creative Inspirations. On today's video, I'm going to showcase the Retiform technique. Retiform simply means crossing lines, intersections, or nest-like. So here are a few samples I created using the Retiform technique, along with Spellbinders, Nestabilities, Card Creator, Basics, and Decorative Dies. For the card that I will be creating, I'm going to be using the 5x7 Card Creator, Basics, and Decorative Dies. So the items needed to create this card are the following. Classic Square Small, die number 3. Card Creator Matting Basics A, die number 5. And the largest die from the Decorative Branching Outset. Ranger Archival Inks in Fern Green and Red Geranium. And the Inkadinkado Fingertip Sponge Daubers and the Ink Sweeper. A repositionable adhesive. My new stamps called Special Sentiments, and I'll be using the Christmas and the blessing stamps from that. And then Inkadinkado stamping gear, the branches stamps and the rectangle stamping gear. Now you can use the circle or the square. I just chose the rectangle for this particular card. So here's our card, and you noticed in this one I did like a grid, and in this one I did lines. For this one, I just want to do a nest right in the center of our card. So how we're going to create that is we're going to start with the Matting Basics die number 5, and then we're going to apply some repositionable adhesive to the back of our little square that we cut and place that in the center. Now if I actually had more time, I would measure and make sure it's perfectly in the center, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to stick it where I think the center is. One of the items I forgot to tell you you need, and it is most important, is Post-it notes. Now I'm using the larger ones. You can use the square ones, but I have the larger ones. And what you want to do is start out and nest the Post-it note right outside the square. When you have that finished, then you can take your square out of the center and save it for later. In this card, I did my sponging in the Fern Green. For this one, I'm going to use the Red Geranium. So take your fingertip dauber and pick up some ink, and then gently ink the edges. You're going to take the paddle, which is the stamping tool from the stamping gear, and use your stamp and stick it anywhere onto your paddle. I'm going to stamp this in the Fern Green. And there I have it stamped. And I pushed down on the edge, but that's okay. So what we want to do now is remove our mask here, and we want to take the large ink sweeper and we want to take and ink over our entire card front. Now you can use the Tim Holtz Distress inks, and the ink blending tool probably would work a little bit easier. Then the next step is going to be taking your square that you cut earlier and actually covering up your center section. And now we're going to take our stamping gear and line it up around the outside. Now the stamping gear does have this plastic or rubbery kind of feet on the bottom that keeps it from sliding around. And now I'm going to change stamps on the stamping gear to the little branch with the berries. And I want to place this right down here so I make sure I get as much of the stamp as possible. And then again, using the fern green ink, we are going to ink this up. But I do want to show you something, so I'm going to go in a little bit closer on the stamping gear. You'll notice that right here, there's little arrows here, here, and all along the outside edge. Those are what we're actually going to be stamping in. And I'm going to start in the corners. Make sure that you put a lot of pressure down so you get a nice stamped image. Kind of hard working behind the camera. I saw I missed a little bit right there, but actually, and I'll try to re-stamp that just by inking up that bottom part there. Hopefully I can line it up well enough. There. Okay, so now we want to do where the arrows are. So one here. And then one here. And then our bottom ones. And then we can pull the stamping gear off and then pull our mask off, and that gives us the spotlight or the Retiform right in the center of our card front. The next step is going to be using the red geranium and the Christmas blessing stamps. And we're going to stamp right down here at the bottom. And the nice thing about clear stamps is you can see exactly where you are stamping. And there's our Christmas blessings. Now on my card, you'll notice, on my sample card, you'll notice that it's a little blingy. What I did was I waited until the ink was dry, and then I used the Copic Spica glass glitter pen, and I actually just traced over all of the Christmas blessings to give it that real blingy, glittery glass Spica look. I'm going to let this dry, so I'm not going to, but we'll build our card for a 5x7 card front. And add some adhesive to the back of all of our layers. And then build our card. I love this branching out, especially using the branches stamping gear. And then we're going to add this in the center. And that finishes our card. So you can see this one that I did all in the same color ink, and then this one that I spotlighted with the red in the center. So I hope I've inspired you to try this new Retiform technique. All of the items that I've shown you in this video can be found on StampingScrapping.com. Happy creating! Thanks for watching.